Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, we've got a super exciting one, well, for me anyway, and it's a strange one because I am a vintage guy. I love the look of vintage, but I've really fallen in love with this car, well, the predecessor to it, and that's this, the Team Associated B7. Now, the 6.4 has been on the show for quite a while. I did a whole Noob Goes Racing with it, and I actually really fell in love with it. I can't believe how much I miss it. Now, I let it go because the B7 was out, so I couldn't really justify having the 6.4 and the 7, so I let the B6.4 go, and then I get the 7 in. But as soon as I sent it off, yeah, I started missing it. It's surprising how much an RC can get under your skin, especially when I don't really like the whole cab forward, but being that I painted it up in the sort of Rochester RC colours and it was very simple, I just loved it, and I spent ages tinkering with it and I just really liked it, so I was kind of gutted to see it go. Now, so much so that I actually tried to get hold of the B6.4 clear. I thought I'll get one of those in, it'd be good content as it's a little bit different as well, and I'll just have it on the shelf, but they are quite expensive, so I tried to see if I could get one, and they're pretty much sold out and I couldn't really get any deals on it, so I couldn't really justify paying the full price just to put it on the shelf when we've got so many cool things coming, so I kind of let it go. Maybe I'll try and get one in a month or two, we'll just have to wait and see. So in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to unbox the 7, take a look at everything, and then in a future video we're going to build it up and take it racing. Yes, I've got quite a few racing cars now. I've got the PR 401, which is my 4-wheel drive. Then I've got the B7, which is my 2-wheel drive modern, and then I've got the YZ870C Super Dogfighter as my vintage 4-wheel drive. So I need a vintage 2-wheel drive now. Well, I've still got my Cougar Classic Trigger's Broom, haven't I really? There may be some big news coming. Yes, I may be letting the Super Dogfighter go to fund something pretty big. But I'm not going to say anything just yet. It's a bit early, but I could be getting something insanely special. But we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, I digress off the topic of this video. So let's open up the B7 and see what you get for your money. Right, so you're going to be seeing this just like I am. I've just cut the tabs, so let's open it up and take a look. Now, one thing that I personally like, the new body. The window is a little bit bigger and the cab is longer, which means it's a little bit less cab forward like, which for me, I really like. Also, it seems very, very low, and I like that kind of proportions. So, is it actually a modern body that I actually like? Well, we'll have to see. So let's open it up. See, the box is actually quite small. The first thing I'm greeted with is this bag 6. And as you can see, it's got lots of blue anodized good stuff. Slipper up in the corner. Then you've got the diff housing, carbon tower. Now the B6.4 quality was amazing, and I drove it for probably 5 months and I never broke a single thing. So these are insanely strong. Even my one was trodden on and it didn't break. So I'm looking forward to getting this one built. We've also got a couple of choices for spur gear as well. The fit and finish on these is gorgeous. So there's the arms. Now a lot longer arms apparently. And then we've got the side rails for the chassis. And some more hardware in there, 11-gram weight for the front. One thing I really like about having the electronics mounted on the plate is if you do a chassis swap, it's much easier. And I am tempted to try and get hold of the B7D shorter chassis, but let's just see how it performs on the track that I normally run on before we go shortening the wheelbase. But when I shortened the wheelbase on the B6.4, it did speed up the car and it did improve my lap times. What else have we got here? So we got more arms, the peels, and then the more bling. Then we've got battery. Now, one thing I didn't like about the B6.4 as a default was the battery tray mount. It was pretty rubbish with that whole thing that went all the way across, and a lot of people changed them to what they've kind of done now, where it's just a slot in and then you just turn the tabs and it locks. Much better. And I did think about swapping out mine to some carbon ones as well, so I'm glad they've done this upgrade, because that's probably one of the only things I didn't really like about the B6.4. Bearings, lots of bearings. Now I have got some bearings to go in this, because I actually got a B6.4 ceramic bearing set from Plague Bearings, and I never got a chance to fit it, so I'm going to take those and I'm going to put them in this as well. Here it is here. I managed to dig it out, so I'm going to put these bearings in the B7. Now, if you are in that part of the world, in an Australia area, Plague Bearings, well worth looking them up. Lovely guy who runs it. Also, there is a discount code for RCKicks, so if you're looking for some good bearings, go check them out, and they'll be going in the B7. Anyway, right, what have we got? Hubs, two sets of hubs. Oh, we have choices. Then we have the hexes, and we have the universal drive shafts. Our oils, so we've got a 35, 30 and 30k, and then we've got some moly grease by the looks of it. We're going to have to mess around with the oils to see. And one thing with this kit, being that I picked up the B6.4 quite late, there was actually a lot of information online about setups. So this one might be a bit more of a learning curve as we dial it in, so we'll just have to see. Turnbuckles. Diff. Now in this one, you actually get the alloy diff cap, or whatever you want to call it, end. So hopefully that might help a little bit. I found that when I did my B6.4, it didn't actually help, but I've got some green slime, so I'll use that and hopefully seal up the diff, as that was one of the only other bugbears that I had with my 6.4, as I had a leaky diff, and nobody wants a leaky diff. Shock collars, shocks. Love the B6.4 shocks. They are amazing, and I'm actually got some on order to go on the Super Dogfighter. Maybe I'll upgrade the housing. There is some options to change these, so maybe I need to pick up some upgrades for this, as all the upgrades I had for the B6.4 went off with it. So I'm going to need to get quite a few bits and pieces. Steering parts, uprights at the front. Then the body itself, and yeah, this is a lot bigger. Actually, I quite like it. I like the way it's longer as well, so it kind of sits in the middle of the car, not all up the front. There is a few options coming out for the B7, I think, but we'll paint this one up. Not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. We'll have to wait and see. Then we got the rear wing. I like what they did there. Stamped in the 7. Then we get the front little spoiler. I did run it on the 6.4 and then I took it off. Didn't really make much difference for my level of driving skill. And then we got the chassis itself. The machining quality is lovely. Right, and then the last thing we got in here is we got some stickers and the manual. And that is pretty much everything that you get for your money. So there you go, just a quick look at the brand new team associated B7 two-wheel drive race buggy. Now in the next episode on this car, we're going to build up the chassis. I'll do a detailed build and then we will paint it up, get some electronics in it, and then we'll take it for a shakedown run. So if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe and you won't miss out on future videos. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.